He sneaks in just as I'm going live, preparing. I'm like, I'm just gonna throw him under the bus this week. It's fine.
Yeah. All is
Just
well.
gaslight everyone to be like, no. So Logan couldn't make it.
Here I am in the back room going.
I was working up a bit and everything.
Oh man, I feel like my camera's off. Something's not right. That's right. Super dark. That's what it is.
Welcome back, everybody, to episode 80 of Read This Way, where we're having technical difficulties.
No, we're as organized as usual, right? This is our usual shenanigans. Except people don't normally get to see it. Normally it's, the 10 minutes leading up to, and we have everything organized within the 30 seconds before. But today I was a little bit behind schedule because I didn't notice the time, which is
fine. It's fine. Did we talk about Takopi's original sin on show last week, or did we find that out after the show? Or did I find it out?
You found out and didn't tell me. We did talk about wanting the hardcover edition. We didn't actually talk anything beyond wanting that 2-part, the non-Fat Boy version.
Excellent. So I'll give you some Takopi news very soon.
Okay.
We had the new series in Jump. Star of Beethoven. Talk about that.
We're going to talk about
that. Pardon me. I got recommended, not personally, but a series that was being promoted by Yukinobu Tatsu, the mangaka for Dandadan. He really hopes that this manga doesn't go under, so
yeah,
he wants people to support.
Look, it's been running for a while, and
apparently it's like the axe is swinging back again, and
oh really?
They're worried about it. So that's why he's promoting it up a bit.
Okay.
It's been on my to read list for a while.
I will admit that in this particular case, I just haven't read it.
I didn't get around. I hadn't gotten around to it until today. So you're going to hear about it because it is right up your alley.
Yeah, I feel like it probably is.
So the title is called Centuria, and people are equating it to Vinland Saga meets Berserk. And so far, off the one chapter, I see it. A little bit of Eldritch horror.
Sprinkled in with the old fantasy setting. It definitely has some nice vibes. I actually, once you started talking about it, I started looking into the manga for it, and they'd done 2 other works beforehand. Because I noticed the art style was not new. Like it wasn't like it appeared like they'd done some work before.
Yeah.
It wasn't amateur hour with this sort of stuff. So they know what they're doing. And by the sounds of it, what is it? It's been running for like 190 chapters, I think.
No, there's only 41.
Years. No.
Yep, only 41 chapters.
No.
This one started in April 2024.
Nope, don't accept that.
That's fine. You can not accept that all you want.
Nope. No, I'm sure it's been running. Doing that thing again, aren't I? I'm doing that thing again.
Yeah, you're slipping into different timelines.
There we go again. Okay.
Cut it out.
Sorry. I predict it's going to be running for 190 chapters. So when it does,
so it's almost been running for 12 months.
Okay. I feel like it's been running for. it's one of those ones that I've sort of, yeah, you're right. It's been on my radar as far as reading goes. And I honestly drop into it once in a while. I'll drop into it, read a few pages and go, oh yeah, the quality seems to be keeping up. And then I'll just jump out again. I don't know why I do that with some series.
The pure manga tourist.
And I think it's because I'll read all my regular stuff and then I'll drop in and go, is this doing anything interesting or different that I should be interested in? And every time I drop into it, it's like in a conversation zone. So I never see anything outside of like a group of people talking. And I had the same problem with the magic one as well.
So essentially, you're getting the digital magazine and just
I'm just sort of
the ones you want to. You're like,
flicking through.
Oh yeah. I like thinking about it like that. It makes sense, but the way you said it sounded really weird.
It's because I make everything sound a little bit weird, don't I? Yeah, I suppose it's one of my skills.
Right,
I work hard
for too long.
Yes. Yes.
That was it.
Yep. Okay. That was just that. Yep. Cool.
Take it away.
We'll run with that. Okay. Where were we? Sorry, man. That intro is now completely thrown me, and I've forgotten what we were doing. A Centuria.
All right.
That's right. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you want to start with Centuria? Do you?
Well, you kind of just led straight into it.
All right, go.
Well, there's not much to go on because I haven't read that much.
I know, yeah, that's fair.
I jumped on and started. I reckon I've read about 20 pages. So
I'll give you a brief overview.
Yeah. Please.
So hang on, I'll bring up the first.
No, come on, give me the Brad version. Give me the version that we all want to know.
All right, so the general plot of Centuria is our main character is a runaway slave. He has been mistreated by his now former employer.
Yes, that's a dude.
With very pretty one. What was he? Julian, that's it.
Yeah.
And I keep hearing it as like King Julian. Which is helping because it's very dark.
Weird side note is that new Creepy Nuts album that dropped. The first few songs actually kind of sound like King Julian at the start there.
We'll talk about that later as well.
Yeah, sorry, that was just that was a weird tangent there that you mentioned that.
So he stows away on a vessel leaving for the continent, which I'm assuming is America. They haven't really specified yet, at least in the first chapter. And he's stowed away on a slaving vessel with 100 other slaves being taken to the new continent. He almost immediately gets murdered by the captain, who basically says they've got no more like extra resources or anything. So either you guys have to feed him, or he's going like overboard. We haven't accounted for stowaways, and this pregnant slave lady pipes up and she's like, I'll give him some of my food. And then everyone feels guilty because the pregnant lady needs food for the baby and whatnot. So they all end up having this kumbaya moment, and they take him in. And over the course of the journey, they are heading towards their Bermuda Triangle equivalent, spooky seas and what have you. And the first mate, I believe, is freaking out. The captain's like, don't be an idiot. It's just we're going this way because there's not going to be anyone around. But
For
we're
a
not
reason.
going. We're not going into it. We're just skirting by, which is really suspicious. And meanwhile, Julian is, for the first time in his life, experiencing a familiar bond between someone. Him and a lady whose name I can't remember.
Just call her pregnant lady.
It basically becomes his mum, and they get really close in the short amount of time. He reciprocates the feelings that she's projecting onto him, because it turns out that she had another kid who recently died protecting her, and her unborn baby, and so they've very quickly made like this found family connection. And turns out that the ship has strayed too far into the current that they were supposed to have been just skirting past. So the captain decides that now's as good a time as any to get rid of some extra cargo, because we need to be lighter to get out of this current. So all the slaves who were either elderly, pregnant, or in some other way defective have been brought out here to have a accident and have an insurance claim. And all of the slaves start getting murdered. Everyone starts protecting Julian and the pregnant lady. And just as they're about to completely murderize everybody, an eldritch terror appears and
tentacles. There's tentacles, right?
Bestows its tentacles. Bestows a gift to Julian. Oh, good lord. There we go.
Some form of super strength or invulnerability, yeah?
So he
nice.
essentially, the two costs for this gift were the 100 souls of the slaves that were there and their newfound love. So one of them has to sacrifice themselves for the other to gain this being's blessing. And Julian chooses himself as sacrifice, and pregnant lady performs an emergency C-section, and bestows her unborn baby to Julian, and then pieces out over the side of the boat, wishing them a long and happy life. And because of this sacrifice, he gains the strength, endurance, and lives of all 100 people. And he tears the crew apart with his bare hands. And it is so cool. I'm not going to show any more because it gets very graphic.
Yeah, quick question. The C-section was performed with the knife that he sharpened at the start, right?
Yes, I forgot to mention that.
I knew it would be a thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was given to her by her husband. Yes.
Good God, and it was insane, dude. It is such a cool chapter. Like an absolute ball away to start a series. I am so excited to continue reading this one.
Right. Now, as much as we want to read it and support it and do all that sort of stuff, when it comes down to it, it's the Tankaban numbers in Japan that really count.
Sales in Japan, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we can purchase them from Amazon Japan, but you can't read it.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you can read Japanese.
Unless you can read Japanese, yes.
Yeah.
Which is a possibility. I mean, you could take up a new hobby, right?
So yeah, that's my recommendation for this episode, because goddamn, he ends up like with this weird face marking around his eyes as well.
Okay. Well, that
It's
explains
really
a little
edgy.
bit more about the later chapters, because there's some characters and stuff that sort of come out in the later chapters that I saw that looked very demonic in their possession. And I think it does skirt around that sort of old god kind of area quite well, along with, I know you said the Americas, but I think it's actually more European. I
was just speculating because people were talking about it being very Vinland Saga-esque, so I was just assuming the continent was what was speculated to be. I think Canada was meant to be like Finland.
Okay, yeah, in Vinland Saga, I think it was meant to be Canada.
Yeah,
I
think I can't remember.
Yeah.
No,
that's good.
Cool.
That's good. So jump on board, give it a read, and hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully it doesn't die.
Oh man!
After all this push, but with the Anadan guy behind it, I feel like he's got the numbers to help pull it out of the grave a bit. It would be a shame to see something of that quality being lost.
The first chapter ends with him being told that he is blessed by the sea and that he doesn't even need to row, that the boat will just carry him to like the next piece.
Oh man, how handy would that be?
It gives me such like Greek
myths, like, well, that's the kind of vibe I always got off it. Was it had that sort of European Greek sort of mythological kind of vibe to it. That's the kind of vibe I got from it.
If the rest of these old gods are going to be like Eldritch inspired sort of cosmic horrors.
No, I think just they go a little bit more traditional after this.
More bit biome specific kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah. From what I've seen, I'm not the one to be saying anything here because I haven't read enough of it to speculate. This is just guesses. So if you want to know, go read it for yourself because it's clearly very good.
Yeah,
very good.
It distracted me from catching up on Kakurabachi.
Oh yeah.
I keep going to say Gachi Akuta, which I also need to catch back up on.
Yeah. Man, I'm so far behind on that series.
I get the anime announcement. I'm like, I'll stop reading now.
Yeah, look, Kagurabachi's been announced, hasn't it?
It has.
They're doing a whole studio. They're making a whole studio for it.
Which I feel like there's enough for like at least a 12 episode season.
Yeah. Look, I will be honest here.
I still feel it's
I was all down for it for the first little bit. And then it just got a little bit
I'm currently about 36 chapters in, so I'm kind of halfway
real
through.
Talky, man. It gets so talky.
Yeah, you don't like the talk. You like
that.
But
it's like it's talk, action. talk. It doesn't breathe. There's no breathing room in the series. Literally any moment they classify as breathing room, they skip. They go straight for like any form of story exposition, straight into action, straight back into exposition, straight back into action. They don't break in between.
Character time.
No, it reminds me of another series a little bit. Yeah. You know the one I'm talking about. The one that likes to time skip and jump all over the place, but everybody loves it anyway.
Are you referring to the shit that's behind me?
No. No, that only time skipped once.
Yeah, true, it did.
Even I know that.
What are we talking about then?
No, the other one that they talk a lot. And then there's like action. A lot of action. People love it. Dude, stop it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's got J in the name. It's got J in the name.
Oh, JJK.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, I forgot that existed. It's finished now.
I know. I know it's finished now, and it's really funny because people were so hardline obsessed with that series for a period of time, and it just dropped as soon as the series finished. It just dropped from existence. Like, people know it's
I would
there,
expect
and they still
it
think it's
to
super popular,
surge back.
but
Like
I don't know if it
next
will.
season of the anime, I reckon it will.
Another
It'll keep
season?
it somewhat relevant. Yeah.
The anime's still going, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a movie coming out too.
I'm
Gojo's
sure there is.
past movie. Yeah.
Okay.
They're doing one. Yeah, they're doing one.
I didn't know we needed more than what we got.
Well, apparently we do, and more Gojo.
Yeah.
Because people want more Gojo because he disappeared for like
Actually,
half the entire series.
yeah, because he was a problem narratively. He was
Yeah,
too
he was.
powerful.
And but this is the problem: is the storytelling was like that all the way through. Is he would do things and then go, "Oh shit, this was a problem with the narrative. Let's fix it by either killing them or making them disappear from the story for some reason or another." It was
Whoops, you're too strong.
it was my sort of pet peeve with the series, besides the whole explaining powers every 3 seconds. Yeah, but people love that series. So and I feel like that it's very
where
similar
you
to that.
dropped off was where the dude was doing the pachinko or the game.
Yeah,
like
the pachinko just killed me.
One.
It just killed me. It really
Which
did.
honestly was probably like the hardest, like the worst one.
Yeah,
That was just
it
so
was a
much text, and
slog.
it was like trying to explain a game that you really enjoy to someone that's kind of complicated, but in a different medium, like
And I think
without being able to fully
yeah,
show them what the game is.
I think the problem was I was reading it week to week at that point, and
Yeah.
after 4 weeks of reading him explaining how his power works, I was just like, I've spent an entire month trying to understand how this guy's powers work, and that's it. That's done. I'm done with this. I imagine if I went back and read it on a more, consistent level, it wouldn't be so bad.
Pickle Mistress
And
Logan.
I just, I didn't like it. It wasn't paced for a weekly release. It really wasn't. Yeah.
It could have,
and I find Kagurabachi in a similar scenario where it's just it just constantly switches between exposition and action and doesn't give you much more than that. So, but people love it. It'll be the next big series. Trust me, it'll be the next big series that will blow people out of the water, and they'll go, this is the best thing in the world. What was solo leveling? We don't know what that is. And they'll go on Kagurabachi.
Have you checked out Itchy the Witch? Because it's also popping up quite a bit on my radar and is rising to the top to check out.
I watched the first. No, watched. I read the first couple of chapters of it. Didn't interest me all that much.
I was just
it's interesting,
apprehensive to getting into it because Ginka and Luna.
This is the thing. It's the poor man's Ginka and Luna. It really is. Ginka and Luna had so much potential for originality and such an interesting, in-depth world, whereas this is just so vanilla.
I have heard that it leans into its world shakeup of him being the first male witch. But past that, that's all I've kind of really know about it.
I mean, whoa, that's exciting.
Like,
I don't
know.
It doesn't interest me that much. I'm happy that people are down with it and they're enjoying it, because they are. There's a lot of people reading it, and there's a lot of people into it. So I can't complain, but it's not my thing. I didn't find it. I didn't vibe with it.
The mangaka for Even If You Slip My Mouth will be publishing a new one-shot titled Sanaki no Shinzo. Actually, yesterday. So I wonder if we'll get, Because we do get some of the one shots that come through.
We get a lot of the one shots
fast.
now. It's probably just needs to be translated across.
That'd
That
be cool,
will be
'cause
interesting.
I liked the even if you slit my mouth, it was really cute. I never finished it, but it was wholesome and cute.
It was, and it was interesting.
Mm.
And
I liked
different.
it was weirdly Monster of the Week in a non-battle format. It's cool because that's most of what I enjoy about the series. Like Monster of the Week is like the yokai inspirations
Yeah.
that generally come from them. But this was like a rom-com version of that.
Yeah, it had a fair run though, didn't it?
Yeah. I think it went over 100 chapters.
I feel like it went 90 to 100, somewhere around there. Which is, a solid couple of years worth of series. So it had a good run.
Yeah. Do you want to quickly talk about Embers and thoughts on its direction?
Let's talk about Embers, and then we'll talk about Mad. And Embers direction, and then we'll do that. Yeah. Okay. So Embers man, it's definitely feeling pretty standard sports series vibes.
I'm enjoying the
delinquent
spin on it.
Yeah, the delinquent spin on it is fun. I like the characters.
So far, it is very much just Haikyuu reskin with
a little bit.
Yeah. I knew it was going to happen, that the rival that he met in middle school was going to end up being at the same school.
Yeah, that was predictable.
Be on the same team. But I was kind of hoping that it was going to be more of a rivalry than a camaraderie that they'd have to overcome, which is just kind of overplayed now because of Haikyuu.
No, they're going to lean into the weird gay relationship environment. Man, how good would that be? If it just turned into like a cool
BL delinquent BL
series.
I'd be kind of
so down for that. I keep reading. Yeah, it'd be so interesting and different compared to everything else that's floating around. It would.
So far, I'm kind of on the fence. I'm still enjoying it, but
until it gets too bland. Yeah, once it becomes formula, I will stop. I'll probably stop.
And I hope they don't lean too hard on. I suppose that is kind of the point, that everyone does judge him by his appearance.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't get dry.
No, but it all comes down to whether he maintains that personality. If he keeps maintaining that personality, it's going to provide a lot more comedy further down the track.
Actually, the him, like the
wallet. Just returning the wallet was just a great. It's not like it's original. It's not an original thing, but it's just a fun sort of concept that he's chasing after someone, and they're running from him because they're scared, and he's trying to do something nice.
Lean into it too often is I guess what I'm concerned about, because it's if they start retreading too many tropes, then it is just going to feel very much same.
It'll end quickly. It'll end quickly if it goes too many tropes. I think they're going to have to lean very heavily on the action in the soccer, and they're going to have to lean very heavily on the rivalry between the characters. But
I feel like it's going to be a clashing of egos first, especially
before it heads into the whole camaraderie business, and then it will head into they'll find a school that they're rivals with on a bigger scale, and the standard formula, that we get from basically every sports manga that floats around. As long as the characters keep up as being fun and entertaining, and the action and artwork keep up, I can't see this being a bad series. I think it'll probably grow in popularity quite as most sports ones
Yeah.
do. They tend grow in popularity a lot, and people will pick them up. I hope if it ever does get translated into anime format that it gets treated better than they have with Blue Lock.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Even and even though they are both soccer related, there's definitely space for both of them because they are very different
Oh, they're
series.
vastly different series. Blue Lock's it's such an intense, serious series that this much lighter school slice of life almost environment is going to be a breath of fresh air, I think, for that genre. And I don't know, was it Haikyuu? It wasn't a series on Manga Plus or anything, was it? It's not a Shueisha series.
No, it was over by then. But yeah, no, it's in the Viz library as well.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's on Manga Plus as well.
Okay. Cool. I never really looked into it. It's
yeah,
probably
Haikyuu's there.
Yeah, there you go.
It ran for a long time. It's not going to tell me though because I'm not.
Oh boy, over 450 chapters worth.
Yeah,
It ran for a few years. Yeah,
it did.
8 years. If you do the numbers, that's about 8 years worth of runtime.
They had a good run.
Yeah, definitely. Which is good. So hopefully we can see that same sort of dynamic happen here, where we get that mix of quirky, fun, silly characters with a more serious undertone of the passion for the thing that they're doing. I don't mind it. I really don't mind it at all, and I enjoy that sort of series quite well. I never have an issue reading that sort of stuff. It's also something that I'm not going to stress too much about missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like one where you could miss a couple and then just jump straight back.
Yeah, and catch up quite easily. Or even just read a chapter, 10 chapters along, and you'll still know what's happening. It's one of those sort of vibes about it. Yeah, definitely. Do you want to chat about Mad?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, no. We'll leave Mad to the end.
Okay. What do you want? You want to do Beethoven? You really want to do Beethoven, don't you?
I want to hear what. Yes.
We're gonna have a chat about this.
And then we'll also quickly talk about the other new series. What was it, Marshall? Forgotten.
Oh,
the new Boichi series.
What was it? Yeah. Give me the Marshall King. Marshall King. Marshall King. Which, yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, let's look at Star of Beethoven, brand new series. Wow, it's quirky.
Tell me about it.
I love it. So it's basically, it follows. So we start with our MC, who is a sad boy who doesn't play piano anymore because of something.
For reasons.
Something has happened for reasons they don't explain straight away. And he goes down to the convenience store, which he works at, to purchase his dinner or breakfast. Which one was it? I can't remember. Might have been breakfast. And while he's in that convenience store,
like brunch, because he was skipping school.
He was just getting up. While he's in this convenience store, a man barges in and starts speaking German in the middle of the store, and his colleague asks him to remove the persons from the store. Now, this guy is yelling in German, this is fun because there's people who nobody understands him except for the main character, and he keeps spurting on about how he's Beethoven and he doesn't know where he is, and the poor MC is just like, I'm stuck with this crazy guy now who keeps following him everywhere.
takes him out to go eat at a Denny's or whatever it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, goes to a family restaurant to have some lunch. In which case Beethoven convinces him, tries to convince him that he actually is Beethoven, and his one of his requests, his only request, he doesn't want to see what the future looks like or any of that sort of stuff. He wants to see what the modern day piano looks like, which so happens to look pretty much identical to the original piano 200 years ago when he was playing a piano. This is like, I'm not explaining this series very, very well because this thing is really wacky in its character design.
Initially thought it was going to be like Tamaku's Cinema, and then it turns out that everyone could see him and he was corporeal. I was like, wait, so he's just been pulled from...
No, dude's been
like,
isekai.
His deathbed,
so
and then
this is Beethoven isekai.
But it's not
into the modern day,
to another world. Yeah, it's just to a modern day, different time.
No, it's modern day. It's the same deal. Fish out of water, man. You've talked to me about this before. We've had this conversation, and you've told me that any time that you fish out of water, it's isekai. So this is an isekai. No. Except it's not the MC, it's the supporting character, which is Beethoven.
Yeah, he's basically just like, no, you're my protege now.
Yeah. And it's such an interesting series, and I'm really excited and curious to see where it goes, because it's such a roller coaster of information as you go through. You're introduced to his work college, you're introduced to the area he lives in, you're introduced to some students that know our MC, and of course you've got him playing the piano with Beethoven, and it's kind of like this weird mix of things that just, I don't know, they just flow really well, and it was really easy to read, and what is it, like 55 pages? It just went really fast.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it went super fast.
Weird. I actually
you kept telling me it was really weird. You're just like, this thing is super weird, and when I read it, I'm like, yeah, it's a little bit weird, but I think the weird thing is the way how laid back the characters are about the whole ordeal.
Yeah.
Like, even when the MC works out that he actually is Beethoven, he's still super chill about the whole thing. Even though the MC does look a lot like L from Death Note. He's like the most chill guy you come across. He's absolutely mellow about everything that's happening. I really enjoyed it. I hope it doesn't stop. I hope this goes for
really threw me.
At least a 1 or 2 year period. I really want to know where this thing goes, because it's my kind of
weird. It kind of was giving me Tenmaku Cinema meets
a little bit. Yeah. The I don't know. You meant to pronounce that in a different way. I don't know. But it's the thing had a very cutesy school genre vibe to it that didn't mix with me. A lot of people really enjoyed that series, but I didn't like it that much. Tenmaku was fantastic. I absolutely loved that. It was a little bit too short-lived, though.
So, I wish weirdly enough, I love Tenmaku, but it's gonna clash with my opinion on Martial King, because I didn't mind the school setting in Tenmaku Cinema.
No, because it worked. It worked really well, because it was about school kids growing into the thing that they loved. It wasn't about the school setting. It was about the kids. They just happened to be in school. That's the difference.
So far, like, it's only one chapter, but I am not really vibing Martial King.
Oh, we're going straight into Martial King? We're sidestepping?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay. Yeah. Look, Artwork's beautiful.
Yes.
Stunning.
Um,
Read
it
it
was
just for the artwork at this point.
100% a couple of dick jokes in there.
Yeah, I love me and Boichi loves dick jokes. He puts a
Like there
lot
was
of that stuff into his
the
work.
the main character who looks very much like Ace.
Almost identical.
But he's not wearing any clothes for the whole first chapter.
That whole panel where they're describing him while he's sitting back is hilarious. They're like, even though it's blacked out, I can even still make out the shape of it.
So weird.
I reckon there was probably a good 6 or 7 bubbles in the chapter that was a dick joke in some way, which was a lot of fun.
And then there was the robot in the background that also was very phallic.
Yes. Yes.
Dick-like.
He loves that in the end. It's a lot of fun. He's so childish in his artwork. Which is,
story-wise, I'm gonna need a little more.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of those ones that's going to take a while before it really grows in. And I have an odd feeling that he's taking advantage of the fact that he's as popular as he is for the series to keep going. So he's gonna slow boil this. This is going to take a while for it to sort of continue on, or he can completely backflip and just skip through the school series phase and just go straight in to being a Marshall King.
I kind of hope that it goes that way because I don't know.
I have a feeling it's going to be relatively short-lived.
But you're right. The art is gorgeous. It's been a while since we've seen a standalone Boichi manga, because since he was working on Dr. Stone as just the artist. He did do the retcon.
Yeah, he did that weird
side story for it. Yeah, which was really good, right? Actually. Yeah, the AI moon thing.
Yeah,
which I'm pretty sure
is
in
canon. There somewhere.
It
is canon, isn't it? I don't know, man. Because there's a lot of time travel stuff in that series.
And like he did the re-illustration of some One Piece chapters and the illustration, the Ace chapters, but I think Sun Can Rock.
Yeah, it's the last time he was doing his own writing / artwork at the same time.
Yeah. I'm digging the setting. The humor's great. The splash of color, seeing as it being a digital comic, it was really shocking.
Yeah. I feel like he purposely went to Manga Plus because he wanted to put color in. He's gone, I want to add a bit more cinematic environment to what I'm producing, and I think he's very much extending into that that large landscape sort of Western cinematic environment. He's looking to get that big space, but it's clearly a series that has been influenced by One Piece. It's been influenced by
I'm kind of getting Trigun, but
that's the one I was going to say. Sorry,
cool.
Trigun was the other one.
It's been a while since I did original Trigun, and I never got around to the CG one.
Oh, don't.
Aww.
I'm sorry, just don't do it. And if you want to dry reach every time you watch it, it's I know I am. I'm terrible, but that's my.
I've heard that it's not bad.
Opinion. It's my opinion. Yeah, that's saying not bad from some 10-year-old kid on YouTube. Am I
Oh,
wrong?
you really are. You're just old man yells like, I told you I haven't seen it.
Old man yells at cloud.
So yeah, I'm hopeful, but not as excited as I was for like Centuria. Centuria, I'm just diving straight into that, and I've got a bunch to read as well. But
and I feel like this
yeah.
series is going to be one of those let it cook for a bit before you jump into a series. So I'm probably going to let it sit for a few chapters. 10.
Kind of like Trojan.
I'm going to let it sit for 10 to 15. Don't let Trojan sit for 10 to 15. Man, you will lose.
Yeah.
You do that, and you'll have like 350 pages to read. Which
is where I'm up to.
You do. That's where you're at, man. So much has happened. I can't talk to you about that series because there has been so much that has happened in it.
So you're caught up as well? Okay. So we swapped places. Okay.
Mostly,
because I caught up and got you caught up.
Okay. Yeah. So I skipped the whole cornfields. Not cornfields, the wheat fields.
Yeah, the poppy fields.
The poppy fields. Yeah, I missed that arc. I kind of skipped that. I caught up on the end, so I read the last few chapters of that arc. I'm just like, I know where I'm up to.
That's where I got a little bit past there. So when I caught you up to there with the abridged referring to everybody by the like piss poor descriptions.
The skill that they have.
Bird Boy and Chain Boy and Fart Girl.
Smoke Girl. Smoke Girl.
I couldn't remember shit at that point.
Yeah, well, it gets worse. It's crazy wild at the moment. Things are off the chain.
I get that reference because I'm not caught up.
Yeah, okay. No, I thought the reference to the Chain Boy sort of scenario was, yeah.
Sorry. It was good. I wanted to play it straight.
No, it wasn't. It was terrible. Sorry. I apologize.
Do we went ahead and was that everything? And you were going to talk about Mad and Chainsaw Man?
We've got Mad and Chainsaw Man to talk about as well. So let's talk about where
that was everything.
Mad is one of those series where I'm just going to say just read it.
Yeah.
If I say anything about it, it's only going to ruin what's happened so far. And this recent chapter is it's a moment. So the past 3 chapters have been like just a moment in time. And it's like a tense, super tense moment. And I'm waiting week to week for things to happen. So highly recommend. Probably one of my most highly recommended series to read at the moment.
You're caught up? You read chapter 19?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm all up to date with it. It's good.
I don't know where this series is going anymore.
No, I'm enjoying the ride.
I want to see what Bob looks like.
Yeah, actually, I do too. He's just a stormtrooper to me.
He's been singled out, and like he's too mysterious at this point. I need to know what he like. Even he just looks like a regular dude.
He could die next week. At the rate that this series runs, they could die at any moment. So I'm trying not to get too attached. Good numbers still, though. Yeah, I don't expect the series to go anywhere in the sense of it being canned, but I feel like that I have no idea where the series is going, which is interesting. Normally, I have a little bit of speculation because it's slipped a little.
It has slipped out. It slipped out of the top 20, along with Redragon and Hero Organization.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Hero Organization was going real hard.
Embers and Marshall King are actually pretty high. Like Embers is number 9.
But those numbers
with Marshall King being 11 as well. Oh yeah, for sure. But they've kind of pushed things down though. the new series. They're swinging pretty hard, and Metaphor Refantasio is also top 10, which I forgot to get around to.
I don't even know what that is.
I told you, it's the good Atlas game. It's the Persona Atlas game.
Oh, really? I don't have time for that. I don't have time for conversations between people.
I don't actually. I think it is. I think Metaphor is a little bit like Game of Thronesy in like their stylized fantasy world. So there's a good chance that it is very wordy. I'm not sure though, so
I can almost guarantee it will be. Anyway, let's talk about the elephant in the room here. Let's talk about Chainsaw Man for a moment.
Have you read Stellar Friends? Real quick.
Stellar Friends?
Yeah, I haven't, but it's from
my representation. No, I have not.
Yeah, it's crawling up the rankings. Whoa.
Maybe something
we might have to have a look at this one for next week. I'll just give a quick.
Better be good though, because if it's not good, I'm gonna rage. I don't have time for junk.
Unable to accept the death of his best friend Octo-chan, Yota makes a forbidden wish on a night of despair. What appeared before his eyes was a question mark. The genius Ichinohe Sensei debuts with an impactful serialization, a new sensational fantasy tale of everlasting friendship, and the art looks a little mixed media. Maybe. I'm not 100% sure.
Nope, this is not going to last long. Sorry.
But it's got cool looking body horror.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It looks cool. Looks interesting. Also looked very slice of life from what I flicked through. So I know we'll look at this during the week and we will talk about it next week, because I feel like it's going to be one of those series that requires a little bit more in-depth understanding. Yeah,
I'll have a look. Yeah, no, I saw it last week as well and didn't think about it, but it's
every time I'm flicking through, I'm like, what are those eggs frying for?
I thought they were soccer balls performing mitosis.
Okay. So we're both a little confused as to what's happening.
I'm not 100% sure what it is meant to be. Eyes? I don't know.
Eyes. I think it's meant to be eyes. But,
looks interesting. I'm down.
Yeah. Yeah. Now talk to me.
So yes.
Talk
Chainsaw
to me.
Man?
Please, Chainsaw Man. Can we talk about Chainsaw Man? Because we haven't properly talked about Chainsaw Man for a little while.
Well, since coming back, I don't think.
Yeah, and a lot's happened in a year. A whole new series of stuff has happened in a year. But I've found that this chapter is probably the most consequential chapter I've read for a while. And on top of that,
it was.
I feel like he's put a lot more effort into this particular chapter.
Yeah, it really feels like a culmination of things, but not in a good way.
Oh no!
Not for Denji.
Man,
the poor,
you name a single chapter where he's had a good run.
I am getting so sad for this man. He just keeps getting manipulated by women left and right, and it's so blatant to him this time, and he's stuck.
Doesn't care anymore, and it's clear that he doesn't care anymore. and he
Well,
just
especially with
wants what he
him
wants.
breaking down because someone still likes him. Even after everything, someone still cares about him. And that's at the core what it's all about. And Asam very well might be that person for him, but with Yoru there, it's gonna be toxic as hell.
Yeah,
Pun
nothing
maybe
good's
not
coming from
intended.
this. Nothing good is coming from this. The things I take away from this chapter are like heavy
I'm
manipulation,
excited,
yes.
but oh, did it hurt?
His direct consent and realization that he is being manipulated and that's okay.
Mm.
His understanding that Asa does like him and continues to like him even throughout the whole thing, even though we haven't seen her for quite some time.
Yeah, I really, really want to know what's going on with her.
Yeah, because
I just
inside
just
there's
want
got
to
to be
see her
some things
POV.
going. Yeah. Oh man, that'd be great. A chapter where it's just her from the inside looking out.
Even if it's literally
That
like
would be
just
tasty.
rehashing everything we've all like seen, but like from her POV trapped inside Yoru to recontextualize everything would be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we still
Yeah.
kind of have like when we shifted POV back to Denji for a bit there, she went off and like became really overpowered. She lost her arm, which we
Mm,
found out was Yoshida related, but we
yeah.
still don't really know what happened. It was like,
Yoshida took her arm, like cut her arm
yeah,
off
but when, why, like,
because she was dangerous. She was a piece of the puzzle that they didn't want in activity at the time.
everyone's motivations are really confusing me at the moment.
What I
Well,
what I really like,
and how they
this
fit
is what I
together,
really like about
especially
how
Femi.
Fujimoto works. Look, Fujimoto works really well in the sense that he lets the characters cook inside the environment that's happening. So every time that these characters come in and go, oh, this is our plan, this is what we're going to do, they will do the thing, but a lot of it will go wrong along the way. So the stories will intertwine and things will go bad, things will go right, and then the end result will be a mix of the two. So in the sense of Asa is trying to be herself and try and track down Chainsaw Man, all that sort of business. And you got Tentacle Guy coming in, working from the other side, trying to halt her from doing too much damage at the same time because she's supporting
Wasn't
Chainsaw
she
Man on one
working
side.
for them?
Well, no, she wasn't.
She was working pretty much directly with Fami, which was actually, yeah, was working with the church.
And this is what I mean. This is where a lot of like intertwining stories are happening, but nothing's going right. There's
And
chaos left, right, and center.
we don't really know what's going on with Fami. She
But it's
disappears and
planned.
reappears.
It's
She's
planned
always
chaos.
eating.
It'll be in there somewhere. What I take away from this chapter was this moment these two characters are having of how they're connecting and what they're connecting with in the story and how that's going to reflect on, because this is it. This is the end. This is his big grand ending that's going to happen,
It
which isn't going
definitely
to be a grand
feels
ending.
like this is the beginning of the end of whatever he has planned.
Yeah, definitely. When he breaks it down to two characters like this, and I think Fujimoto's at his best when he has like a chapter and it's just two characters or three maximum that are interacting. That's when you see him at his best because he can let those characters interact on a much more emotional level. And that's what they do on this chapter. There's a connection there, and you feel that connection and you see that connection between the characters. a lot more so, between the composition of the panels, the way he moves the camera around, the way the characters react, the amount of panels that don't have words. Like there's a bunch of panels in there that there's no speech involved. It's just interaction and emotion.
Pretty sure there's one panel in particular that's just Denji nodding his head so fast.
Oh, I'm so like glad that you are just mentioning that, because when I read that, I'm like, oh, that is gorgeous. The way he just like reacts. He's just like, yes.
But it looks so well done. Like it's messy enough that you know what's happening and what it still is. It's very well done.
And what it's representing is his eagerness to just not care about anything else, and he's let his internal desires just run his entire life. It's like he's
it's always kind of been a coming of age story, but so stunted.
Coming of age story, yes. Yeah. My favorite is the 3 panels they have where Denji's like putting his head against the back of Asa's head.
And he starts breaking
completely
down.
Silent, and he just sort of like knocks her on the back of the head with his head, and it's
and then she ruins the moment by being a little asshole.
Yeah, if you're going to cry, let me watch.
She's such a gremlin.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. I really do love it. And I like her a lot more than Makima. I think Makima was a lot more conniving. She was a lot more manipulative. Whereas this is manipulation, but it's all surface level. He knows, and she's been honest all the way through. It's like an S&M agreement. They're just like,
and I think that's submitting. The big difference. The big difference between Makima and Yoru is the dividing piece of Asa. If she wasn't there, it would be a lot worse.
No doubt.
It's almost like Asa and Yoru sharing the same brain is almost leashed how bad Yoru could be. Yeah. Like, by any means, it's still not good, but because she is so humanized through Asa, it leans more into being a consensual S&M relationship than it's still kind of an uneven one though.
It's still a manipulation.
The ultimatum at the end with do this incredibly bullshit task for me, and then we'll have sex. If not, I'm gonna weaponize you and do it anyway.
That sounds very S&M to me. Like it is like that sort of ultimatum is what it's all about, isn't it? Is that domination? Is that desire to do what they tell you to do under any circumstance? Yeah. I feel like it's very much.
It also helps that they're the same age. Death persona. War persona excluding. It helps that it's not exactly a woman in power. I don't know. It still feels ick. I'm for Asa and Denji, but Yoru's given me the ick
not
at
like
the moment.
This. Yoru knows exactly what she's doing.
Exactly. That's the problem.
She's been upfront about it.
Yeah, she is.
He has the choice. Yeah. This is the thing, is he has the choice to say no and walk away from this, and he's got the power to do it, but he's choosing not to. Because he's led by his pain.
As to why Naota's death is permanent, but nearly every other devil, you get a little bit of blood in them and they're regenerating fine. I'm still unsure if
Or
she's truly dead.
how long does it take for them to die?
I don't know.
So this is the bizarre formula. So if he kills the Bat Devil, right? Like way back at the start, kills the Bat Devil, doesn't eat the Bat Devil, but the Bat Devil dies, but is then reborn in hell because the system continues, because people's
And then
fear
was
of the
killed
Bat
in hell.
maintains.
And then when it was killed in hell, it gets
Yeah,
reborn back into.
I don't think that's how that works. Is that how that
I'm
works?
pretty sure that's how they get out of hell. Or one of the ways that they get out of hell, which is why some of the the primal fears and whatnot can't leave, because there's nothing. They're too powerful. There's nothing that can defeat them in hell.
Chainsaw Man is required to, so Chainsaw Man was required in hell to defeat them, to bring them over to the other side. But initially, Chainsaw Man was feared
and delete them
in hell. Exactly, but eating them and deleting them in hell, does that delete them from our world as well, or does that only happen when he's here?
No, because it is
because he was
not necessarily explicit, but feared by devils, not humans. He ate the parts of Ward that she was trying to make him vomit up, presumably before he escaped into the human world and then met up with Denji, because that was the fight that he was he lost prior to the beginning of the story.
Man, there's so much at the beginning that we're missing. So much lore at the beginning that we're missing. That
I just want to know what.
That's why I think a lot of it doesn't make sense, because we're only getting half the story. Yeah. Which is, guys, I love that side of Chainsaw Man, and that's what makes it so like disjointed and unusual and bizarre, is the fact that we're only really seeing half the information, and he continues to just stay on Denji, which is great, or Asa, either way. But staying on a singular character means that you're only getting half of the story.
Yeah,
if that.
Kind of what I was poorly trying to explain before with like the whole Asa stuff. Is like when he shifts that camera focus to Denji, Asa doesn't stop doing, like, she still has agency and she goes off and does her own thing. We're just not privy to what happens when we're looking at Denji, and then when we swing back to Asa, it's the same thing. His life with Naoto and all that. We got a small glimpse, but that was generally when Asa got introduced to Denji.
Yeah,
because we got all that from her perspective. I think
it's great. It's great the way it's swinging story-wise. We're not having to switch backwards and forwards between characters all the time. The focus just moves to whatever's driving the story forward at the time.
Yeah.
So switching.
I want to know what's going on now that Yoshida, Fami, and Maximum the Hormone Girl, whose name I can't remember. They were all just sitting there, and then Denji and Asa just pieced out.
Yeah, they're just like, catch you later.
And then we're talking about the Fire Devil and the Death Devil, and this
we're talking about the Fire Devil because
version of like Ragnarok.
Yeah, those gorgeous scenes behind this chapter are all, of course, buildings on fire.
Meant to,
which is stunning.
Precurse the Death Devil's appearance. The Fire Devil's meant to give off a good show or something, and the show hasn't even started yet because he hasn't appeared or something. At least that's what I was saying.
Yeah. and it's all prediction based stuff. I mean, it may or may not happen, and I don't know, man. God knows where it'll go. It'll end up with a bang and then a fizzle. I feel.
I'm wondering if it'll get like as metaphysical as Fire Punch ending was.
I don't think it will. I think it'll be
It could.
It'll be a lot quieter. Nah, people would be way too confused if he did that now.
Do you want to?
Because the build-up for Fire Punch is metaphysical on that. Sorry, you go.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, did you want to segue into what we watched before we jumped onto the episode?
Yeah, we can definitely.
I feel like that's a good segue because there was a lot of references to Fujimoto's extended catalog. We finally got around to watching Look Back, and it was gorgeous.
I'm not crying. Shut up. You're crying.
God, I would have loved to have seen it at the cinema, but we always get stiffed over here.
Yeah, firmly stiffed. Sorry. Yeah, look, it's available on Amazon at the moment. That's its platform because they own MGM, who are the distribution company that have distributed this guy.
Who was the studio? Do you know?
I did. I saw it, and then it was
Studio
Durian,
that but which is the smelly fruit.
There was a few studios involved because I saw that Studio 4 Degrees Celsius was involved as well. So I feel like there was a few groups doing certain things, like the action moments and the heavy movement moments were different to the more still moments and the big wide panning moments. So I feel like there was a few studios involved to do specialized shots. So there was possibly a request from Fujimoto to get particular animators to do certain things in a certain way. I feel I might be horribly wrong, but I did see a few studios involved.
Did you catch the Goodbye Eri reference as well?
Oh no, maybe I missed that one.
They were well, it could have been anything, but that's what I saw it as. They're at the cinema after they got
the explosion in the background
and the dude walking away from the explosion. I was like, that's got to be Goodbye Eri.
I just assumed that was in the original manga because it's a very Hollywood sort of trope.
It is,
and something that Fujimoto's used in a few of his works.
But it's not. It wouldn't have been the only change which you were outraged by.
Yeah, shut up, man. I was a little bit angered by the fact that they changed the covers to the more.
I honestly
theories.
I forgot that it wasn't Chainsaw Man. So I saw it and was like, oh, I guess the chapters. But it was a shark instead.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even Beam.
It was just
we have a Shark Man in Chainsaw Man.
Yeah.
Remember Beam?
Yeah. The guy who goes through the ground and stuff.
Yeah. We haven't seen him since
part that 1. Guy?
I think he's dead.
Oh.
I like Beam. He was like Denji's dog.
Yeah, he was a goofy dude. Dude. It's a lot of fun, but there's a lot of references to catch in this film. Most of them referring to Chainsaw Man.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, in the original manga, I think they referenced Fire Punch a bit more than Chainsaw Man.
I can't remember. It's been a little while since I actually read.
Well, it's called Shark Kick. It's
Yeah.
It's definitely a reference to Fire Punch. And at that time, not the first series of Chainsaw Man was out at that
Yeah,
time.
because it was in
Yeah,
between part 1 and
yeah,
part 2.
yeah. I this was a beautiful movie.
Mm.
Like very, very gently taken care of, beautifully produced, emotion filled
Oh
film.
man, it was swinging my emotions from scene to scene.
The
I
disgusting thing is, I knew exactly every beat and every moment that was going to happen, and I was still in tears at the end.
yeah, it
And
I I feel like it actually translated a little bit better in the animated version. But it's still, oh man, it was still a gut punch.
it translated better because he was able to grab the beats
Yeah.
and the music and
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff. He got all that cinematic essence that he was trying to do in the original story out into the anime, and it translated so very well. I wonder how much he was involved. I feel like he was pretty involved
I hope so.
in.
That would have been like a dream come true for him.
I
Um
I feel like there's no way that this could have been produced and felt the way it was without him being involved.
Actually, yeah, just quickly it was flicking through. I forgot why. And it was to look at the Shark Kick covers. And that whole scene where she's drawing and I'm assuming was on the phone to her editor talking
Yeah,
about getting that's all that's in the manga. It's just complete silence. There's no dialogue whatsoever for that.
yeah.
So that was all like added in for the anime
And it was
itself.
a beautiful little moment because it's all about
Mm,
her not able to keep an assistant
yeah, and
because
then
she just
the
only wanted
mic
one
drop
person. Yeah,
of that one person being brutally murdered made it hit even harder. Um, God, I didn't sub like a little baby, but I was close.
that
I got overwhelmed at
when they started doing the
the
flashback stuff.
when actually it was earlier than that. It's
Yeah.
when she realizes that the the source of what made her give up drawing is also her biggest fan and supporter, that she was just so conflicted by all of the emotions that she just had the weird dance run home. That whole
Oh,
scene
fuck, I
was just
love that so much.
chills, literal chills.
Stunning, stunning
And I was
work.
just like so happy for them to come together that I was just like starting to well up. I'm just like so beautiful.
I'm
Um
I'm really curious to hear a non-creative's perspective of this film. This hit really hard for me because
mm,
I'm a creative and I understand that dynamic that they have at the start is rare. It's not
yeah.
something that's common. It's something that's difficult to come by, and to have that sort of ripped away at the way they did and the way they chose to go in different paths and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, it hurt.
Which was
It hurt
mainly like
watching.
a communication issue,
It's
which
not even that. It was just a diversion of interests and ideas, which is what
but
you
it
do.
was
People have that.
but with the whole Kyo Annie yeah, the Kyo Annie stuff, uh and separate matter altogether, the Rurouni Kenshin stuff. I've been doing some like uh watching some videos that have been a bit insightful about the culture in Japan, and like with Kenshin's whole thing, the post justice, where he would be expected to pay his dues, then rejoin society and continue benefiting it in whatever way he can, i.e., continuing his manga. I get that. The reason I'm bringing up all of that is the misnomer that Japanese people are really nice when you're being rude and arrogant. It's more that their whole culture is based around not wanting to bother people, be a bother, and being an inconvenience. So, like, I feel like that aspect of what's her name? Fujimoto? It's Fujimoto, but split. the one that wants to go to the art school, with her wanting to be so independent and splinter off and not be an inconvenience for her. I feel like that the weight of that was lost a little bit in translation, which makes the whole thing even more heartbreaking. Because
I get where you're coming from there.
I could be reaching as well.
From my standpoint, that she's finally built up the courage because of all that support from her friend to start going down the path that she initially wanted to go down in the original idea of what she wanted to do, which is when you look at the two split timelines, on both timelines, she makes the same decision, but the other character doesn't.
Timelines.
Yeah, I know.
It's
the same timeline.
It's wish fulfillment.
Yeah, it is. But it's where one character is always going to be that character. And there could be that wish fulfillment scenario where that character sees that other person like that all the time. They can't see them any other way. So that's just the resolution that's going to happen.
I liked how magical the what if scenario was. It felt.
Oh, it was beautiful. It was really, really beautiful.
I remember reading it for the first time and getting to that what if scenario and just being all like, wait, what's going on? Did we actually make it in time?
Yeah.
And that was probably more so me blitzing through the one shot because it had been months since we had like Fujimoto, so I was just like, blah, give me that. So I don't know how much more it was presented better, differently, that I understood the source material because I read it a few times. Whether or not it was like for someone that's seen only the anime, if it was very obvious that it was her dreaming up a what if scenario to kind of cope with the loss of her closest friend, that she basically kind of pushed away because they had that splitting.
I think it conveys a lot easier in the anime than it does in the manga. It's a little bit more difficult to see that split and see the conclusion of the fact that the timeline is what it is, and it's just her coping with the whole idea of the loss. It's harder. It's a little bit harder to see in the manga than it is in the anime.
The finale with her posting up the blank 4 panels as well really reiterates that it was just a fanciful dream. Which, god damn it, the ending
tell you what, I was okay. I was like, this is pretty emotional all the way through. I'm like, okay, this is this is what I was hoping it was going to be. When she opened the diary and it started flicking through all the memories, man, it goddamn well broke me so hard. So hard. Like it was a solid 30 seconds of me just going, oh, stunning. Really, really beautiful work. And I just wish that every series was taken with as much care and as much love as
really
that
hoping
this
that we
was
get
done.
a Goodbye Eri adaptation now.
If we do, I hope it's live action, and I hope it's all filmed on a smartphone, because that's what he wants.
Can't we just have it stylized like that, but still have it anime?
Nope. No, it needs to be a film. It needs to
It
be
does
on a
look like
smartphone. It needs to
the
look like
only
found film footage.
found footage.
Yeah.
It does look like the cinema scene is just looking at them sitting in the seats. So yeah, it was a little nod to Goodbye Eri.
Yeah.
Also, before I forget, speaking of anime adaptations that we hope are really, really good, Takopi's Original Sin is getting an anime adaptation this year.
Ooh, what? Who's doing that? Tell me it's someone good.
I don't actually know. I'm ill prepared.
Yeah, look,
Give me
it's
una memento.
man, I don't know if I can handle watching that.
Oh, it's gonna be rough.
It's gonna be super rough to watch. It's gonna break a lot of people. And if they do it, it's not going to be a 12 episode. It's going to be either a 6 episode or a feature length. They're gonna pour that into a short period of time.
It still apparently baffles me that it's considered a shonen.
That's a seinen, man.
Yeah.
It's not shonen at all. It's not even. There's not even one element of that series that's shonen, except it has kids in it. That's the only thing that's connected to a shonen platform.
Yep. I think it's a new studio.
Okay, making a new studio for it. That's all right.
Not. Actually, no. Okay, it's not. Oh, actually, no. I think we did talk about this at least off screen. Because it's the studio that's done Spice and Wolf, the reboot, but that's about it.
Which studio was that? It was
Enishiya.
Okay. I mean, I can give it the benefit of the doubt, and hopefully something great will happen. I don't have my hopes up.
It looks good. Stop.
I know I'm being down. No, I'm being negative until I see it.
I haven't heard of the other series. They did one called Raison d'etre.
Yeah.
Oh, actually,
do you know what's really going to make or break this?
It's going to be Weathering with You. Yeah, it is.
Okay, they've done.
And yeah, Spice.
Weathering with You was a film, yeah.
I believe so.
Done by a big director. Interesting.
It says CMS after it, so I don't know what that means.
Maybe they just did additional scenes for it.
Yeah.
Which is still a fairly big nod, because that was not a small film. That was a big time film.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope that they can pull off the sheer scale of devastation.
They've got a bit of a weird repertoire as well. So they also did the Bitty Bitty music video for Yao Sobi, which was the Pokemon collab.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it was like I think it was like using the Nintendo like 3D models, but in like a really cute, stylized. I'll check. We'll check it out after the show because we'll definitely get copyright done
Oh
if
yeah,
I.
there will be rabbit holes involved here. We will be delving. Yeah, we'll have a look at that.
So yeah, it. I'll show you the teaser because that'll be something else that we can't show. But Takopi's, I've got high hopes. It's looking pretty good.
Okay. I see
Um,
one spot of 3D. I'm gonna be angry.
Man, when aren't you?
I know. I spotted it while I was watching. Look back. I'm like, ignore it. It's not there. Everything else is spot on. Everything is perfect. Just ignore it.
Like,
It was
like
well
there was
integrated. It was just done well. You didn't notice it.
there was something else done recently that I saw and was like, "Oh, Logan's gonna hate that," but I think it's done. It is pretty well integrated. Just can't remember what it was. Oh, actually, it might have been. Well, I'll talk more about it next week. But I've really gotten into Apothecary Diaries.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's so much fun.
Yeah. Okay, I've heard really good things about it, like really good things. So it's on my list of things to go
Weirdly,
through.
it kind of it as much as I haven't watched the one that's everyone's joking about being House MD but anime, this one kind of feels like House MD but a period piece. So not only am I getting the insight, like the medical drama, it's also they don't know shit about what's going on because it's a period piece and they're still going by apothecaries and guessing. So it's really interesting.
Ooh.
So it kind of gives me like Sherlock vibes as well. I don't know. I'm
Okay.
digging it.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll talk,
I
more
it's
about
on
it
my
next
list.
week.
It's on my list.
Yeah.
Are we wrapping up now? Or
We
you've got
are. Just a quick reminder
of course
that
you are.
SRBA Volume 1 will be going live the end of this week on Friday. We'll have even actually, you know what? I don't care.
Go on, do it.
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
know what you're thinking.
reveal. I'm gonna reveal one of the the cover for the manga. Oh, he's already updated it. Cool.
Oh, look at that. He's on top of it.
So we've got variant cover by Logan French and Logan
And Logan.
and Kieran
Logan
Jack.
and Logan.
There we go. Make it bigger.
Yeah.
Super happy with how they've turned out. If you missed out on Susan pins last time, you can grab those. We've also got sticker pack and if we reach our stretch goals, if I had to scroll a little bit further, you get more book in your book.
What?
Essentially it'll just cover the costs of putting more pages into the book that we want to add for like behind the scenes stuff, character designs that you wouldn't have seen before. But on top of the chapters 1, 2, and 3, you also get the prologue from Free Comic Book Day that was done years ago. I think it was actually before COVID, and we never really got to use it because the world went to shit.
Oh yeah.
So it's going to be the definitive way to read the beginning of the story, leading into the next volume release, which will have the brand new chapter.
What?
Really excited.
Who would be doing that?
I know. And just really want to show off these covers again because they're pretty.
Yeah, they turned out nice.
They turned out real nice. Yeah, I think that covers us gushing about our favorite stuff that we're reading and the little amount of news that there was. Check back in 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time next week for our continuing thoughts on what is going on with the current mangas that are circulating, the new ones, the old ones, the cancelled ones.
Oh yeah. Actually, next week I'm going to talk about an old one because you should have read through it by then.
Siren?
Yeah. No, man, dude, you got to give up on that thing at some point.
No, dude, I am going to be. If it ever gets an anime,
I know.
If it ever gets an anime, I will not shut the hell up about it. And I swear, if it's bad.
Next week we are talking about Senchu, though.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yes, I forgot you.
Yeah, I'm all up to date now.
That's the Mappo one. The Mappo. For some reason, I thought Look Back was
the original.
Mappo. But yeah, it's really good. I'm enjoying it.
We will cover it better next week.
Yes. Whoever was watching from last week and wanted to see, I found the book. It was looking me in the face.
Oh yeah, the Death Note light novel.
Yeah, it's the only light novel I own, and it's gorgeous, and I love it. And it's almost as old as I am.
It's been around for a while.
I love it. It's so edgy. It's basically Death Note, but it feels more Sherlock Holmesy.
More investigation.
It's
emo.
I don't know. Because I mean, the whole thing with Death Note, it was like very much the Sherlock Holmes versus Moriarty, but like scaled up to 11. And we're also going to follow Moriarty. It feels a little bit more focused on the good guys because we are following a serial killer that has Shinigami eyes. So it was a very nice, different spin. It's been referenced in all the other media, but never adapted itself, which is weird. Even like the spin-off L movies that they did in between adapting like the original live-action ones, they make reference to it. They make reference to it in the anime as well. Anyway, it's weird. We're leaving.
We're going.
I've been Brad.
I've been Logan.
And stop. Get off the toilet and wash your hands.